Hello and welcome back. In this episode, we're going to talk about cover pages in Sparx Enterprise Architect. We will refer to these as navigation pages, non-model pages, cover pages, and landing pages. You'll probably hear me refer to them as landing pages most often. These are also referred to in web design as interstitial pages, or the pages that are in between. When you and your stakeholders arrive to your project, you want to provide them a place to start and navigate from. All right, so this was going to help guide them through the journey of that project. Here is a completely blank Sparx project. There's no reference data, images, or custom elements. There's no patterns yet, and so on. So let's get started. Since you may be early adopters of Sparx, I'm in the default factory layout, of course, with the exception of Toolbox. I have the Toolbox pinned to the side here. I am going to work in my own common layout, and I teach you about layouts in this channel. I'm going to go to my user layout called Common, and it's going to put Toolbox unpinned to the left and Browser on the right, upper right, and Notes on the lower right. And I have a bunch of other tools that I use that you'll learn about in the channel. Now, this is optional for you, but I'm going to bring in my reference data, and I have a video on exporting and importing reference data also in the channel. So I'm going to go to Settings. I'm going to go to Transfer. I'm going to import reference data, and then I'm going to go out to my File Share, where I have reference data. And this could be your local drive, could be a team shared drive, or it could even be Reusable Asset Service, or RAS, if you have that deployed. So we simply select File, we go to the place where our reference data is, and we're going to choose this project reference data file right here. We're going to hit Open, and we're going to choose all of these. We want to bring all of this in, most importantly, our glossary. And then we're going to hit Import, and there it is. We now have reference data in here, which we'll talk about shortly. So we are at the root node called Model, and we're going to create our first namespace or package, new package, and then we're going to call this Project XYZ. And we're going to create a diagram inside this. And we get this dialog box, the builder page up here, that allows me to choose, well, what kind of diagram do I want? I'm going to just use structural, and you can use any diagram type you want. You can use object diagram, but I'm going to use class diagram for this main cover page. So create diagram. There we go. We have a blank diagram in here. Now let's add some elements to this diagram to make it meaningful. So over in the toolbar, I'm going to minimize these so that I can get down to common elements right here, common elements right here. And in here, I've got a text box I can choose from, an image. So let's drag and drop, or just click and then click where you want it, a blank text image. And let's bring in an image. We're just going to put this over on the right here. And then we can choose from any image that's in our image manager, our library. Now we imported our reference data, so I happen to have the UML operator logo, and we're going to hit OK. All right, so now we've got that in the upper right, and we have this text box in here. I can double click it, and I can type in anything that I want that's meaningful to this diagram, this cover page. For this first one, let's just give it the project name like that. And then let's come here to layouts, and let's hit this in style panel. And let's make this bold and 24, all right? We'll keep Calibri as our font type, all right? So there we go. Next, let's add some sub-packages, and we can do that at the root level, or you can do it under the project namespace. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is minimize this. I'm going to do it at the root level, at the model level. So what we're going to do is create package 1. I'm going to leave that name for this demonstration. And the diagram that we're going to create is going to be of the same name. And we're going to pick any diagram type you want. Let's start with requirements, all right? And then let's slide this down. We can rename these later. We're just going to go back to the root node and we're going to create another package. This time, let's use Model Builder and let's bring in a communication diagram, have it build it for us. Yes, need to save. There we go. I'm going to move this one down to the bottom. Using the browser, I've got this. I can move elements up and down, right? So we've got a couple of packages in here. Let me move this one down right below the main project page like that. And let's close builder page and let's close package. And so we're back at our main cover page. Now, when we come back to this project, and you may have multiple projects you're working on, but when we come back here, we want this main cover page to be the diagram that's loaded by default. So we're going to go to the start and then right over here and collaborate. We can use model diagrams, right? So we're in the collaborate panel right here. We're going to go to manage, set current as default, right? So when this project loads, this is going to be the default page that we land on. So to prove this point, we're at the start page, and here is our most recent project. We'll go ahead and launch it. And when it launches, look at that. This page loads by default. So when we come back to this project, we want to be able to get to specific areas of the project. I went ahead and renamed this package here, package 1, to requirements. And there's a couple of ways to navigate. One, you can drag and drop the package in like that. It tells you what's underneath the package, because if I double click in here and go to elements, I want package contents to show. If I didn't, I could check that and it will go off. But let's leave that in. I'm going to go back down here, package content back on, and there we go. And I created 2 sub packages in here using the auto-generated models that Sparx gives just for this demonstration. Another thing you can do is, because there's a diagram in here, I can drag and drop the diagram in here. I want it right here as a hyperlink. And so now I have this as a hyperlink. And another thing, and this is what I mostly use, is navigation cells. Navigation cells. And I'm not going to choose an icon in here. I'm just going to go ahead and hit cancel. And now I have a blank navigation cell that has behind it a blank landing page for requirements, which we're going to fill out in just a moment. So you can choose any approach that you want. Sometimes you want to show the namespaces and what's behind it. Sometimes you want to build out something that would show up in a web page like it is. So we're going to go requirements, just put in some content in here, come back out the layout here. Let's go to style again on the fonts, and let's make this 12, right? So that way, when they land on this, you're able to very quickly get to it. And then, of course, the other one is using the navigation cells, and you can come in here and add in an image. You can come in here, select image asset from your project, or of course you can right click on this appearance. And then what we want to do is choose select image asset from here. And we're just going to use this one right here for now, right? So these are the 3 ways that you can build the navigation from any of your landing pages, cover pages, and more. Now I'm going to use navigation cells, all right? So I don't need package. So I could hit Alt-G to find this package. It goes right there. Or I can delete it from the diagram. Note, I did not delete it from the project. Don't panic. I deleted it from the diagram. Now this, on the other hand, if I hit Alt and G, it goes to hidden elements right up here. Normally you've got a dot, dot, dot. If you don't, it may be within the namespace itself. So that's how you can very quickly get to your elements. Let's do it again, Alt G, and it's this element right here. I want to delete it from here, right? So I'm going to right click on it, delete, tells me what it is. Hey, are you sure? You're getting ready to delete it. It's undoable. Delete it from the database. There it goes, and it's gone. All right. Now, the cool thing about navigation cells is that you have this little icon right here in the lower right of the navigation cell. If I select it, it tells me or shows me the diagram underneath it. And I can double click that to open it up and navigate to that specific diagram. So here's where we came from, and here's where we just went, right? So you can see in this package, and I can right click in here, find this diagram in the browser. So in this package, I have two particular elements that we brought in. We're using Model Builder, and I can even select these, and it shows me, well, that's the model that's underneath that one. This is the model that's underneath that as pop-ups. I don't want to navigate to either one of them, right? And I'm going to close this. Now, instead of having the diagram launch in a separate tab, you can, let's close this, go to Start, go to Visual Styles, and in here, you'll see a checkbox, Enable Concise Diagram Navigation. I have it checked off. I like my diagrams to load in a separate tab, but let's go ahead and check this, hit OK. Now watch what happens when we open this navigation cell. It goes right to the diagram using the same tab, and I get this back arrow here, so I can go back to the start area. So the previous page is what I should say. The start area is this main landing page. So I'll leave that totally up to you, but I like visual style. I like it to load in its own tab, all right? So that it loads in its own tab. And if I want to navigate back, I can see both that are open. I can simply close the one that I don't want to see. All right, so I went ahead and loaded another navigation cell dealing with our communication diagram. I also added another text box in here, and you can align these any way that you want when they show up. All right, so what I want to do is we're going to go to this landing page for requirements. And we want to put a header on top of this landing page. So I can either create it from scratch like we did here, or I can select everything that I want in that landing page. And let's go ahead and bring the project title in, the mission statement, if you will, and the logo. So I'm going to hit Control C. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit Shift and Insert, right? So what it did was it brought in these elements here with the same geometric layout within the diagram right here. And we can prove that by selecting this, hitting Alt G, and it's going up and it's grabbing the same element, global unique IDs, as the main. All right, so it's going back to this, it's not duplicating. You don't want to create new in here because it will, if you change something here like project XYZ, let's go release 1. All right, and notice I'm in the requirements one. All right, just release 1, something like that. All right, then I go back over here. It's using the same global unique ID. It allows me to ripple the changes across my entire project. And you can make cover pages or interstitial pages for any of your stakeholders. For example, your non-technical folks may come in and they want to navigate to requirements and non-technical conversations, project management, etc. Your technical stakeholders may wish to come in and get immediately to technical models and so on that's taking place, right? So this becomes a very powerful means of being able to get to the specific areas that you need to get to when you need to get there. All right. So another important thing here is that if you go out and you publish to web, right, that your web page looks just like your project for the most part, right? So navigation on the left, and they're able to select these navigation elements and get to specific topics that you want to cover. They can navigate back. They can go into more technical conversations related to, like in this case, communication diagram, deployment diagram, solution approach design, and so on. And they're able to get to a lot of other information you may provide. For example, your project glossary, we included that when we imported the reference data, and anything else that you paint within your model. Here's the demo project we're doing for model-driven anything, and you can see that we have navigation cells that get down into diagrams that are below them and even have more navigation cells. So you can drill down through this very complicated project and get to specific areas of concern that you need to get to when you need to get to them. All right. So, and then we're going to go all the way back to the main cover page and allow modelers to get to specific conversations that they need to have, collaborations that they need to have, and so on. So you can imagine navigating this particular project there, where there are dozens, if not hundreds of diagrams and thousands of elements. Now you can get to them very quickly. All right, that's going to conclude this session. There's so many tips and tricks that we could go through to help you very quickly navigate. You can create slideshows. A better way is to use working sets. We'll get into that later. But navigating your models is extremely important. You should start out with a strategy at the beginning of any project so that you yourself are able to navigate to the things that you need to get to as quickly as possible. But think about your stakeholders. Trying to tell a story, you want to get them through that story as quickly and effortlessly as possible, right? And until the next episode, happy modeling.